What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Brap Genius back at it again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the best motorcycle for noobs.
Yeah, start it off right, boys. Yeah. Oh my god.
Hi, Mom. Sorry, not sorry.
But on camera when I die?
Of course. So my opinion has changed, guys. I used to think the best motorcycle for noobs was like a Ninja 300 or a Supermoto. Personally, I always thought dirt bikes were the best way to learn. I still believe that. But in terms of if you're someone that can't ride in the dirt, you can't get a dirt bike, go ride in the dirt, so you want to just hop right on the street and you don't want to learn on the dirt, the best bike, in my opinion, that you could start on is this bike right here, a Boom Vader or any other Grom clone. I really just believe that they are overall perfect beginner bikes for a multitude of reasons, and we're going to be covering those today. So there's a couple reasons that I really believe that this is the best motorcycle you could start on. One of which is how slow it is compared to a lot of the other motorcycles. Now you can upgrade the sprockets on these, make them a little bit faster, which is what I did. But if you haven't ridden anything that's manual before, you haven't used a clutch or anything like that, even the 300s are going to be a little bit fast for you. This is a 125cc, and it's going to be very hard for you to go too fast on this thing. So that's one reason. Another thing that I really like about this bike is the size. It's a small motorcycle. So learning how it works and how it feels and how to maneuver it and stuff like that, it's going to be a lot easier than throwing around a big bike. My first street bike was a Ninja 650R, and while I loved that bike, you know, that bike was heavy, and throwing it around in turns for a noob, it wasn't the easiest thing for me. It definitely taught me a lot, but I would have been better off if I started on something lighter for the turns, because that kind of threw me off down the road. I was scared of turns for a while, and I'm over that now, but at that point that was still something very new to me, and you know, it was just a growing phase. So with just how light this bike is, so flickable, going around turns and stuff like that, it's going to be really easy for you guys. You're going to be able to take it in and enjoy the learning process. You know, I've seen a lot of other people, they do start out on bigger bikes, and they do it mostly because they're scared of what people will think of them. Guys, forget what anybody else thinks. It doesn't matter. You growing and learning how to do something right is way more important than somebody else's opinion, especially if you go in over your head. You know, you get one of these 600s and you haven't touched anything with a clutch before, a lot of people end up crashing, and it just kills their want for a motorcycle again. You know, kills their desire to go ride, which sucks. You know, take the time, get something like this to start on, learn how everything works, and then you can move up. And for these bikes, since they're so cheap, I mean, you could pretty much sell them for what you bought them for anyway, which is another thing that I like about this bike, is the price. This bike is $1,200 guys, brand new. And I've said in other videos, you got to do a couple mods to them to make them right. If you have any questions about that, you can let me know in the comments. I've got a whole playlist for this bike, the Boom Vader. You could look up whatever you need to do, but for a couple little mods, you know, you cannot beat the price of this bike, any other motorcycle you're going to get. Because here's the thing, you're going to buy a used motorcycle. If you buy a used Ninja 300, it's going to be at least $2,000, right? Which, don't get me wrong, that's still a good learning bike, and it's a good price to get into. But with this, you're going to get one that's brand new, that hasn't been beat to crap yet, and you'll know everything that you're doing with it. So that's a major thing too, is the price, guys. Now here's something else that not a lot of people think of, but I love it for this bike, is you have to work on it. You have to work on it if you want it to run right. You got to do those modifications that I've talked about in other videos, like the carburetor, the exhaust, change out the battery, and the sprockets to really get the full potential of the bike. And that may sound intimidating if you haven't worked on anything before, guys, but that's the point, is having this bike will teach you how to learn on bikes. When you buy it, they send it to you, you got to learn how to put the wheel on. If you've never taken a wheel on or off of a motorcycle, you're learning it right there. And like I said, there's videos all over the place. I've got a video for pretty much any question you'd have about this bike, other than going into the actual engine itself. So anything that you guys are curious about, if you did want to get this for your starter motorcycle, you could do it, and I can help you with whatever problems you have. I always answer every single subscriber. I make that my job because I love connecting with you guys, and I love helping people grow in this community. So yeah, you got to learn how to work on the bike, but that's so important for riding, guys, because if not, you're going to be paying thousands and thousands of dollars to get things done that you could literally do yourself. And once you learn how to fix these bikes, like I did, you learn more and more, and then you build the confidence to go and do more things. Like my other motorcycle, I have a GSXR 1000. I put in the Bajaj ZFI by myself. If I didn't work on this bike before, I wouldn't have had the confidence to do that. I would have been like, you know what, I'll just pay someone to do it. But it really wasn't that hard. It was mostly plug and play. I had to go and split into another wire and stuff like that. I mean, it wasn't anything crazy, but even then I still would have been intimidated because, you know, I didn't really have a lot of experience working on my bikes. But getting this bike allowed me to do that, and now, you know, I wish I would have done that sooner. If I could have gone back, if I wasn't going to start on a dirt bike before I went into the went onto the street, I would have probably gotten this bike as a first bike, because this bike, it's a perfect little bike just to tool around on, great to learn on, and more importantly, you can go and practice in smaller areas. You know, you can go on side streets and stuff like that, and you can go through all the gears. And that's the biggest thing, guys, is you're going to be learning how to shift your gears, where to shift and all that. And when you have a motorcycle that's a higher cc, you don't shift as much. My GSXR 1000 does over 100 miles an hour in first gear. Now, I can obviously shift before that, and obviously I do. You know, I usually shift in a second around like 40 miles an hour. But even then, if you're someone that's new to bikes, you know, the first week, you're probably not going to be going much over 40 miles an hour anyway. So it really doesn't matter. You're not going to be learning, you know, you're just going to be in first gear, riding around, not shifting, not learning how to shift, how to downshift, when to shift, what the shift points are and all that. And that's something you really want to learn early. Whenever you start anything new, guys, you take in the most information when you start doing it. So if you do it the right way in the beginning, it's going to set up your path down the road and just going to make it so much easier for you. Another reason I like this bike for a beginner bike is it looks good. Like I said, it's a small bike, but it's the second generation Grom clone. So it has the frame and body, basically the shell of a Honda Grom, one of the brand new ones. But it's like I said, it's $1,200. So you get a stylish looking bike for $1,200. Like, I know I keep saying that, guys, but that's just mind-baffling in today's era where, you know, 1000s a couple years ago used to cost like 12 grand out the door. Now all the new R1s are like 20 grand, 25 grand. It's insane. So the fact that you could buy a brand new motorcycle for under $1,500 is ridiculous. Another reason I think this is the best bike you could begin on is because it's so much fun. It's just a fun little bike. Like, you don't have to be going, everybody thinks you gotta go fast to have fun. Like, no, it is true. I didn't believe it when I was into faster bikes. You know, I always thought speed meant fun. But having a small bike and riding it like it's fast is so much more fun than riding a fast bike slow. You know, I'll ride this bike around some back roads and stuff like that. I'm kind of just chilling today. But there's some really good twisties in the area that I live. And, you know, I'll just rip it down them, you know, doing like 50 miles an hour. And, you know, speed limit there is 50. So I'm doing the speed limit, but I feel like I'm hauling. And it just makes it so much more fun. So, I mean, you could still get a motorcycle where you're going to have the fun. And also, guys, having this bike is really going to give you the confidence for if you ever want to get a different bike down the road. If you're getting this bike just to start, this is going to build up the fundamentals for everything else that you're going to do in the future on your next bike. If you get something that's bigger, like let's say, like honestly, you could go from this to a 600cc. Now, when you do that, be aware, like, it's not like, oh, okay, we're just going to step up. It's like you're taking like 10 steps up, okay? This is a 125cc. Those 600s move, okay? So it's not like you could just go from this, jump onto a 600 and be like, all right, I'm gonna be perfect. But that being said, you're gonna be way better off having started on something like this and then jumping to a 600 down the road than you would be if you just jumped on a 600 with no experience. So something to be said with that too, guys, is since this bike is so cheap, what most people do is they have another motorcycle. This is just like a side motorcycle to them. So that's the case for me. You know, this is just an extra motorcycle, which I'm blessed enough to be able to have. But yeah, so it's like if one of my other motorcycles is broken, I can ride this and I'll have a great time, you know what I mean? Or even some days like today, I want to just take it out for fun in general, just because I feel like it, and I'm perfectly cool with doing so. So that's the other thing, is if you guys have this as your starter bike, once you move up to whatever else you want to get, if you choose to keep this bike, now you have another bike. If God forbid, you know, something happens to the other one and you got to fix it, or if God forbid you go down, you know, you can get back on this bike. And that could be said too, guys, is this bike really just gives you confidence in so many ways, and that's why I think it's the best starter motorcycle that you can get, is because of what you're going to learn. This bike is going to teach you way more if you're a noob. Like I said, this is for noobs. It's going to teach you way more than I think pretty much any other. Woo! Holy woo! That's why I don't like riding with the gravel. I don't know if you guys could tell on camera, but my rear end just fishtailed back and forth. Damn, I'd have been doing like 35. It's all good though. That's what I mean with crashing though. Like, I've crashed my dirt bike at probably 35 miles an hour. So this wouldn't have been the first time. But yeah, it gives you the confidence. I was able to get through that just fine because I've really just learned this bike now, and you know, I've gained confidence in my riding ability with it. Because I've learned on it, and I've learned how it rides and how it feels. A big asterisk here for this video, guys, is you know, like I said, this bike is for noobs. Okay, if you already have riding experience, or you've driven a lot of fast cars, or like I said, you ride dirt bikes, you're probably gonna want something faster than this. This bike is mostly for noobs. A lot of my viewers on this channel are younger. They're people that are just getting into dirt bikes now, and they want to go to the street after, so that's why I'm recommending this. But if you're someone that really is in a bike for speed and having a good time, you might find this boring. If you're looking to get, if your goal is to get like a 600 or something like that, and you already ride dirt bikes, let's say you ride a 252 stroke like I do, if you go from a 252 stroke to this, you're probably going to be very bored. But if you're someone who doesn't care and you like just riding in general, then you're probably still going to have a lot of fun with this bike. I think even in general, if you did ride dirt bikes and you come to this bike, it's still going to be the most fun, because it's not like a Ninja 300 where it's the same size pretty much as a 600, but it's really slow and you feel awkward. It's like this bike is small and it's just meant to be fun. Nobody takes it seriously, so you don't have to feel pressure to, you know, be a really good rider right away, because it's a really small bike. It's meant just to have fun and mess around. So it takes pressure off of you guys from feeling like you have to go fast and just know what you're doing. And that's also going to help you guys learn too, is, you know, you can go your own pace and not feel any pressure. So those are some of the reasons that I feel a Grom clone, at least specifically for me, the Boom Vader, is the best motorcycle that you guys could start on. If you're really big, if you're like 6'5" and like 300 pounds, all right, maybe it's not the best bike for you. But anybody that's like a normal size and is just getting into bikes, and you don't really have any background in riding or anything, I think this is going to teach you more than any other bike could, guys. I really believe that. So hopefully this video helps you guys. If it did, let me know by hitting the like button, hitting subscribe. Hit me up in the comments down below, guys, about anything about your life, about bikes you're interested in. Let me know if I was right or wrong by this being a good starter bike. And you guys have a great day as always. Peace.